Hello, my name is Breda Seaman and I'm the project coordinator for Dementia Friendly Dunblane. We are a group of volunteers who set up in 2017 to create a dementia-friendly community. We have 26 wonderful volunteers who come from all walks of life, and they have been a tremendous asset to our project. We have on our journey to date opened a memory café which operates normally weekly. We have contributed to the development of a music and memories music group and a rejuvenate lunch club once a month. During COVID, these volunteers have absolutely been amazing. They have been working tirelessly to provide soup and cake, fish and chips, and lots of other goodies to the elderly members of our community. But it was more than the food that was appreciated. Many of the elderly people were grateful to have a doorstep conversation with another human being, and it has enabled us to stay connected to our cafe attendees. Telephone befriending on weekly by the volunteers picked up any issues that could be dealt with. I would like to pass you on now to some of these wonderful volunteers and carers so that they can share their stories. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Gillian. I'm an unpaid carer for my mum who has Alzheimer's. As a family, we decided we would try and keep mum at home as long as possible, and we would all care for her in our own way. My daughter very kindly moved in with mum when she left school and continued her education at college and stayed with my mum. When my daughter went off to university, I moved in with mum. I was working full-time as well, and mum went to private daycare and also the day centre at Alzheimer's Scotland once a week. And I would stay with mum at night. In lockdown, mum's daycare obviously stopped. Alzheimer's Scotland couldn't provide their social care once a week either. And I was working from home and caring for mum too. It was a lonely and isolating experience, and still can be. Mum's Alzheimer's declined rapidly through lockdown. The lack of social interaction had a real impact on mum, and her vocabulary became quite poor, and her mood became low, and we had incontinence. I sought help and support, but through lockdown I was told that these kind of supports were not a priority, and so I just had to keep trying to find solutions myself. I found out through social media about a local support group called Dementia Friendly Dunblane, who were great. They helped with advice. They had people that had been in my situation or are still in my situation now, and tried to give me solutions that they had tried. They delivered us soup and cake, which was fantastic. It was a real treat. Plus, for me, the person delivering the soup gave me some adult chat at the door, which I'm sure I burnt their ears off with being able to talk to somebody. And I can't thank them enough for the support I got from them. Sadly, mum slipped due to the incontinence and fractured her back, landed in hospital for 3 weeks. Obviously, I could not visit her in those 3 weeks, which was difficult. Then there was a real problem setting up a care package when we got her home. She was obviously in a lot of pain with her back. So it was difficult. Then my mother-in-law became seriously ill and sadly passed away. I needed to be home with my family at that time, and trying to organise respite care for my mum was extremely difficult, as the care homes were not offering respite at all. And eventually I managed to get emergency respite care for mum. The constant battle for support through lockdown is very draining, and as a carer on your own, you don't get much sleep, and dealing with somebody with dementia is a very full-on task. But again, it was wonderful having that local support through Dementia Friendly Dunblane, and they were there on the end of the phone if I needed somebody to pour my heart out, and they were always willing to help, always willing to try and think of a solution to problems that cropped up.
My name is Varian, and my husband has Alzheimer's, which was diagnosed 5 years ago. It has been a difficult journey, made easier by living in our local supportive community of Dementia Friendly Dunblane. Until the start of last year, Peter was able to walk independently into the town to buy the few things he needed, or to sit and have a coffee or lunch. He could do this, and I felt confident that should he get a little confused or need help, people would come to his assistance. He was well known around the town, as he and Breda would go around the shops talking to people working there, explaining about the Dementia Friendly campaign and generally raising awareness of dementia. Peter's glamorous assistant Ruby, his dementia assistance dog, all added to the awareness raising. Life changed drastically for everyone last year, but particularly so for those with dementia, and like so many, Peter has deteriorated considerably due to lack of outside stimulation. However, the one bright spark has been the lovely food parcels regularly appearing on our doorstep, always with a bright smile and cheery greeting, all thanks to Dementia Friendly Dunblane. Most support groups are for older people, so Breda and I set up the Younger Persons Lunch Group to offer a safe place for younger people with dementia and their carers to come and enjoy some time together. Trying to find your way through the maze of obtaining support is difficult, and you have to be tenacious in seeking information, asking questions, and never giving up, even though you are probably exhausted and emotionally wrung out. We managed to get SDS funding from Stirling Council to directly employ assistants for Peter, and that has worked well. However, I struggled for months to get a much-needed review of his original assessment, and in the end contacted a local councillor who managed to get a review arranged within a week. Through all of this, the one constant reassurance has been the support and advice of Dementia Friendly Dunblane.
Hi, my name's Sally, and this is mine and my mum's story. We both live in Dunblane in Perthshire, and Mum was diagnosed in 2008 with Alzheimer's dementia. She is also blind. She went from being an independent lady involved in the community and helping others to a scared, confused and lonely individual with increasing memory difficulties. Being given loads of books and books to read when all you want to do is talk about it with someone isn't easy. Time doesn't allow you to read and your emotions don't let you. It has been and continues to be a journey with many challenges and occasional laughs over some of the things that are said. The overarching experience to date is not one of closeness of mother and daughter, caring and love, but of frustration, fighting to get things done, to get answers, and a huge amount of stress. Being a carer to your own mother changes your relationship. My observations over the period so far have been how difficult it is as a family member to get any advice or help. No one helps you, contacts you after a diagnosis, and you have to fight for everything at every turn. It's emotionally, physically, and mentally draining to the point that I stopped work in 2019 as my mental health was pushed to the limit and I had no support. It was a wise decision because that year Mum was in and out of hospital 5 times, loads of misdiagnoses, but we managed to get her out every single time. Through our resilience, our determination, and our home-cooked food. She learned to love that, and we took it in thermos flasks every time. Friends judged, people stepped back, Medical professionals told us to take time to look after myself. Medical professionals told me to take time and look after yourself. Not sure they've ever cared for a person with dementia, because that's impossible. Dementia Friendly Dunblane has been an eye-opener and my lifesaver. I found it in 2018 and Mum started attending with a carer. I'd heard lots about it, so I attended myself and had a great time. It gave us an opportunity to be together as a mum and a daughter again, and we loved that. In 2019, I also volunteered with them and am part of the DFD steering group and then a minute taker as well. I also befriend other carers and other people with dementia and love to support where I can with home cooked food. That's our story.
Hello, I'm Claire and I'm a volunteer with Dementia Friendly Dunblane. I started volunteering just over 4 years ago when I left my job at a local primary school and I offered to walk small groups of children to our weekly memory café. One of the things that struck me immediately was that children neither know nor care who is the person with dementia, who is the volunteer, or who is the carer. They treat everybody equally and they chatted away and they just brought great cheer to the cafe whenever they were there. The second thing that struck me almost immediately was that music has such an amazing effect on people with dementia. And this was something I didn't know before. But if our entertainment was music or movement to music, it seemed to tap into people's lost memories and they would smile and they would sing and they would move to the music and they would clap. And that positive effect continued even after the music had stopped. Well, then, of course, COVID struck. And it came as no surprise to us that our coordinator, Breda, swung straight into action and organised soup and cake twice a week, made by a local cafe and delivered on the doorstep by volunteers. What became very clear to me was that the chat on the doorstep was as important to all of us as the soup and the cake. Wherever possible, I involved children walking around delivering with me because I had seen the positive benefit of having children chatting to older people. So what I would say I have taken from my volunteering is, first of all, the volunteering is totally as important to the volunteer as it is to the recipient. And the other thing is, if you ever are organising volunteering, if you can involve young children, it can bring nothing but joy.